low network. Hey guys, my phone just told me low network connection. Like, okay, good way to start. Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Mindy and we've got Catherine here with Cactus Kids Art Studio. And today we are painting some spring bunnies. So I've got back here in the background is our example. This is one that I did on a 12 by 12 canvas. And I posted a template in there. This is for an 8.5 by 11. So I just printed this one out on cardstock. That's what I'm gonna paint today. You can paint on whatever you want. Catherine's got hers traced onto an 8 by 10 canvas. So she's painting on a canvas today. We just kind of had to make it a little bit shorter to fit it in there. So whatever you're painting on today is awesome. We can paint, be very creative in however you want to paint your bunnies. So I did mine brown because I wanted them to look like the little cottontail bunnies that we have running around in our neighborhood. Catherine says she wants to paint hers gray today. So we'll get her some white and black to paint the gray.
I thought all the bunnies that went around in our neighborhood are gray.
They're gray. They are. My cottontails are a little bit gray. I think they're grayish, brownish. All right. So choose what colors you want. I like to put in a white and black with all of them so that you can make different shades of your color. So if you're painting your bunnies purple, add some purple and some white and black. If you're painting black or gray, that would just be white and black. So you can use whatever type of paint. You can use crayon or marker if you want, whatever you have around the house. But we are going to start. So we've just got acrylic paint here. So we'll put out some black and some white. And we're gonna paint the bunnies first. And then we'll do the background after. There's the white. What color are you gonna do your background? It's a tough call. I'm thinking about doing mine like a little bit crazy colors. Yeah. I think I'm gonna paint my bunnies today purple because I already have cute brown ones. That's my realistic one. Today's gonna be my play one. So I'm gonna paint my bunnies today purple. Because that's fun. I like purple. Purple's my favorite color. It's purple. And so we'll just start with these. So I'm gonna move the camera down. You can kind of watch what I'm doing here. Hold on, let's get it on here.
Okay, that
okay.
I think it's good.
Kind of.
It's pretty good.
Sorry. Trying to get the best angle here.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So we're just gonna start with our first layer of paint. So I'm just gonna get my purple and I'm gonna paint the bunnies just all purple to start with, okay? So so Catherine's doing hers gray. So if you wanna just mix some black and white together, just a little bit of black with a lot of white will make a nice gray. If you're mixing a color, usually you don't need very much of the darker color. So if you're making gray, just mix a little bit of black in with the white to make gray. If you're making, say, green, which is made from blue and yellow, you're gonna use just a little bit of blue in with mostly yellow to make that. So whatever colors you're mixing, always start with just a little bit of the darker color. And I always do a first base color when I'm painting and then come back and add all the details after. So any shading or anything is going to be done after I've got my base color down.
And if you're doing it on a canvas, you might want to do the edges.
Yeah.
Because it looks more nicer.
Oh yeah, if you're painting on a canvas, paint around the edges. That does make it look nicer. I went out of the lines here.
Really? Let me see. Oh yeah, you did.
Just trying to do it quickly so I can be an example here of just what to do.
Okay, you wait. Mom,
So I was running late today. I had to work today. I work at a hospital. I'm a pharmacist. and I decided to run by the grocery store on my way home just to pick up a couple things. And I thought people were social distancing because I've been stuck in my house all week until I went to work today. But there were a lot of people at the grocery store. I was kind of disappointed. But I was one of them, but I haven't been to the grocery store in over a week, and we've got 6 people in our family, so I was considering that a pretty good win.
We go to the grocery store every week, Mom.
Normally, but I haven't been since last Thursday.
Oh.
And I didn't even do a full shopping trip today. I just got some
So it's
basics.
less than a week.
No, today's Friday. That's more than a week.
Oh, yeah. Wait, today? Oh, yeah, today is Friday.
Okay, so I got my whole base color down. I got my bunnies. So once I have my base color, then I can start adding different textures in there. So just to make it look like it's got some texture, I can take a little bit of white, and I'm just gonna kind of put little spots around because I don't need a lot of white. And I'm just gonna kind of put little streaks in here. And then I'll come back with some more purple and kind of dilute it out. But it just gives it a little bit of little texture, a little differentiation, not just all plain one color. So I'll come over, do some streaks of white on this bunny. And what you're painting on makes a difference. If this paper absorbs the paint a lot faster, so it dries faster. If you're painting on canvas, it's easier to mix colors when they're wet, so it works better. And then I'm going to do the same thing with black. So I'm going to put some spots of black. Since purple's a dark color, you can hardly see it in here, but
you can still see it if you.
But you can still see it, yeah.
This is a really dark color. That's like purple.
Little spots of black. And then the other thing you want to think about when you're painting is where your light is coming from. So
usually it's on the right.
It can be wherever you want. She said usually it's on the right. It can be. It can be wherever. So in my example, Catherine, will you hand me my example? So in my example, I made the light come from, well, it depends on how you're looking at it. If I'm looking at it, it's on the right. So it's over on this side. So I put extra light colors, so the extra white on this side of the bunny. And then I put a little extra black mixed in on this side of the bunny to kind of give it the look of shadow. So think about where you want your light to be. Give that a little bit of extra white, and the opposite side, give it a little bit of extra black to make it a little more realistic looking. So I'll do the same thing on this one. So I'm gonna give it a little extra black over on this side of my bunny, and I'm just gonna come along in all of that side, just little streaks of
black. And it's okay if you go outside the lines on cardstock because it dries really fast, and you can paint over it.
You can paint over it, that's true.
Side.
You can paint over it if you mess up.
And on a canvas, but that might take a while.
You're a little painting expert here.
Did you tell me that?
Okay, so I have a little darker on what to me is the left-hand side. So I'll do the same thing with white. I'll add some white streaks over on this side of my bunny, and even on this ear too, because it's facing the sun too.
Okay, time to go over it with white, right, Mom?
With white, yeah. And then the other thing, if you really want to give it the look of light, just put some plain white on it. So what I've got on here, I just kind of mixed in. But if you do just some bright streaks of plain white, it really looks like a reflection. And most artists will not use plain white except for when they want the reflection or the look of light. So for example, down here on our bunny's tails, the bunny tails look like they're plain white, like on my example here, but they've actually got some brown mixed in there with them, but you can't tell because of the contrast with what's around it. But if it were just plain white, it would stand out even more. So for my bunny tails, I'm gonna kind of wipe off the purple on my brush, but I'm not gonna rinse it off in water. Just kind of wipe it on a paper towel here. And I'm gonna get some white and I'll put it on here, but because I still have purple in my brush, it has a tint of purple to it. So I'm gonna paint the tail white with a tint of purple, which you can't really see. And then I'm actually going to give it more of a cottontail texture, I'm gonna tap it. So by tapping my brush on there, it gives it some texture. And it also, I'm going around the edges to make it look kind of fuzzy around the edges. He's so cute, such cute little bunnies. I love bunnies. I love seeing bunnies in our neighborhood. That's one of my favorite things.
They're not even when it's raining?
No, they're not usually out when it's raining.
No, they will.
All right.
They are.
So you can see they look white, but they've got quite a bit actually of color in them. Kind of see. I think I've got too much white on here, so I'm kind of gonna mix it in a bit. It's a great thing about acrylic paints is if you don't like what you did, you just paint over it.
The white is gonna come off.
And I'm just putting some more streaks in here. I've got some light color on my brush just to give it some color, some variation, some just fun. All right. So once I've got my bunnies done, I am going to do the background. And the background, let's see, what color should we do the background? I think I'm just gonna stick with green. I did my last one green. I'll do this one green too. It makes it look like they're outside playing. Okay, so I've got my green paint. When I want to do lighter colors with green, I always mix it with yellow. So I'm gonna put a little yellow on my
Put a lot of yellow because I'm gonna do the
plate.
background yellow.
You're gonna do the background yellow. Cute bunnies, Catherine. All right, so I'm gonna do the same sort of thing with the background. I'm gonna start by just painting the whole thing green because that's gonna be my main color. And I'm actually I'm not gonna paint the whole thing right here and make you watch me. I'm gonna kind of give you an example. So I'm being very careful going around the edge of my bunnies here. I want to try to get right up to where the bunnies go because I don't want any white showing. So my goal when I paint...
Except when you have the light kind of,
yeah,
that light showing.
Yeah, the white I painted on there I want. But my goal when I'm painting is to cover up the entire thing and not have any white showing on my paper or my canvas. Unless it's unless I paint the white on there. But no white from my canvas. So we're gonna be super careful and go all the way out to the edge. And if you're painting on canvas, go all the way around the edge to give it that nice clean look. And we are gonna take the weekend off, but I will come back on Monday.
Really?
Yep, we'll do this again next week.
And
Monday I'm gonna do an oil pastel demonstration. So if you have oil pastels, I talked about it a little bit yesterday, but they come in most kids' art sets when you buy
when you get one for Christmas.
or adult art sets. big sets that come with like all kinds of different mediums in them. They usually have oil pastels. You can, sure, you can get them from Amazon or Michael's or pretty much anywhere that has art supplies. Yeah, you can. I put up an example in the comments of my live yesterday, one that I have that's on Amazon for $6.40. If you want to get some oil pastels, I think everybody should have oil pastels. I think they're so much fun. So if you want to make an art purchase, that's a good one to get.
What?
Yeah. Catherine would like to show off her art. What are you showing? Your art kit?
This one.
Oh, okay. How about you open it up on the table? Okay, so this is as far as I'm going to go right now on this, just because I'm showing it as an example. So you can see right now, you can see all of the brush strokes in it, but I actually want it to have kind of a texture because it makes it kind of look like you're outside and the bunnies are up close and the background is a distant, could be trees, field, whatever. If it has a little texture to it. So I'm actually gonna mix over here on my plate, I'm gonna mix some yellow and green together to make a lighter shade of green. And then I'm going to come over on here and just randomly put little spots of this lighter green. And then if you want to do a darker, if you want to do a darker shade as well, which I recommend, depending on what you're using, you can mix it with black or gray. For green, a good color to mix with is brown. I don't have brown out on my palette right now, so I'm actually gonna take a little tiny bit of black. You can see the black on the corner of my brush there. And I'm gonna just mix little spots of black, kind of like I was doing before. And I'm just gonna put in little spots there. And I like just the variation that it gives when you mix colors in the background like this. So you can see it's kind of just very abstract background, but kind of gives the illusion that you're seeing something in the distance that's outdoors and green and pretty. So that is our spring bunnies. They're pretty easy to do.
I'm almost done with mine.
Catherine's almost done with hers.
Actually, do some.
It's pretty easy.
And if you're doing it on a canvas, you can get like a black Sharpie.
Black Sharpie.
And then you can sign it.
Oh yeah. When you're done, you should always sign your artwork. That's right. So we like to use Sharpie markers. Those are easy.
Or paint markers.
Or paint markers, yeah. They're easy things to sign with because we always want to know who the artist is. And then you can hang it up on your refrigerator, or we hang ours up on our pantry door.
We used to.
Well, some of the things we have there are like 3 years old now.
Oh, like 6 months.
6 months old. Yep, we got some old ones up there too.
05, 03.
So once you're done, make sure you sign your artwork. And especially, I think it's a good idea as a kid to put the date on the back of it, or even on the front.
Really?
Yeah, if you put the date on it, then you can always remember like how old you were when you did it, which is fun to come back and look at later. All right, I wasn't gonna finish it, I know, but I did, so I'm just finishing up my background here.
Same. I need to make my tail now.
You work on your tail? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun to do the tails because you just blot it on there and give it that fuzzy look. I love fuzzy. Oh, that was for our kit.
Sorry.
All right, So that is my spring bunnies in purple. I think they're cute. I like it. I'm gonna call that a win. Catherine is over here working on hers. She's doing gray bunnies with a yellow background. Show it. So hers turned out cute too. If you did this, take a picture and post it in the comments. That would be awesome. I love to see it. Look. You put background on your bunny right there.
I did not know. Oh, that's my elbow.
Oh, you touched it with your elbow?
Yeah.
Whoops. All right, do you want to show us real quick your, she wants to show us her art kits.
So, like, if you have an outfit, like this one, then
Where are you going to put it?
Which way? Oh, I think it goes. So
It goes this way.
So
This actually we got off of Swip Swap.
really?
Yep.
So we open it, and then you can see all these colored pencils, sketching, and then you have these watercolor paints, and like you can get all these cool
So
stuff.
these over here are the oil pastels.
The oil pastels.
So this is what they look like. If you want to check and see if your kids' art sets have oil pastels in them. All right, well that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed making the spring bunnies. Share this with your friends. I think everybody should paint some spring bunnies, don't you?
I think everyone should go on
So
live.
feel free to share. Like our page, Cactus Kids Art Studio. We will be back on Monday with oil pastel demonstration, and we'll go from there. I hope you guys are having fun in this spring break / quarantine time. This week is spring break for us, but
And then
next
we
week
have,
we'll just be skipping school.
No, until April 10th.
And if you're in Arizona, they just announced that schools will be closed at least until April 10th. So we've got another bonus week.
Really?
So
Only for 2 weeks?
we'll see. We'll see.
Oh.
That's all. We just wait and see. But anyway, have a good day. Have a good weekend. Enjoy doing all your art stuff. Bye.
Bye.